Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. As usual, I'm Tokwe Makotige, and I have the beautiful ladies. Today is about Adire Friday. It's not just a regular.
Yes, it
is. All representing our culture in Adire fabrics. Yeah. How are you doing, Obia?
Doing amazing. 2 announcements quickly.
Again.
So we're still taking registration for your View Ladies Hangout for Valentine's season. I've been getting a lot of inquiries, and people have been asking the dates. Some people are asking if they can come alone, one person. Some are asking if they can come with their friends, especially those who don't have their spouses around. So please, you can come with a friend and register as a couple. You can also come alone and register. Registration is still ongoing, and we're going to have loads of fun. That's one announcement. Second announcement, I'm still doing sales. Valentine's sales, hair, clothes, body oils, snacks. I'm still selling, and it's ending on the 14th of February. So if you're interested in buying, just go to my social media handle and make your orders. Interesting. 2 announcements.
You did it in Shoki.
Well, let me extend it.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
Some people are also looking that we're not in Nigeria. I would have loved to be there. Someone said, we're all the way in the north. We really have loved to come for the Valentine hangout. So sponsor somebody close here. You can actually just sponsor, gift it to you. Someone. I once had to paid for an event, and I couldn't make it to that event. And I gave it to a friend. Herself and her husband went for the dinner.
And they had fun.
And in fact, it was at the heat of the marriage crisis. Couples hangout, that kind of rejuvenation. And they were able to settle this.
So you can gift Your View Valentine hangout to a friend, a couple, and you can
family member.
Just some people said it was too cheap. That 60,000 means that it will not be quality food, but the truth is we're not trying to profit from the hangouts. You are only paying for the food and getting time to have conversations with the ladies of Your View on the 17th of February. Anything for the weekend, Mariam?
Nothing for the weekend, I think. I have something for the weekend, but I would not talk about it until it's done. But for me, the Valentine's Day dinner that we're going to have is just an opportunity for us to see face to face with a lot of our fans, because we get those messages where there used to be a time before COVID, before all that happened, where we would have them come on Wednesday face to face, and it's been a while that we've seen you guys. It would be nice to catch up and talk. And you know me, how I feel about places. That place is beautiful. You'll be happy to be there. You know how you take yourself out of the stress of Lagos and just enjoy the place. It'll be so worth it. So we're looking forward to having you and having a lovely time. And there'll be food and drinks. Don't mind the price. The price is Your View price.
I wanted to have love and greetings from Tinkan yesterday.
You were stuck in Tinkan.
PM.
Yeah, PM. Wow. At the rural police station, and all the police officers are Your View fans.
I'm sure they're watching.
I hope so too. They're watching, and it was so much fun just relaxing with them, catching gists.
It wasn't like you were stuck in traffic.
No.
I was like feeling for you, like maybe you were in traffic in Tinkan.
No, why would I go all the way to Tinkan? I wasn't enjoying. I was working.
So I have announcements. Valentine sales going on at Rep 360.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can get the details on social media. And traveling, which means that I have hangouts in the UK and in the US. So London, Glasgow, and Manchester. Get set. I've already posted the details on my Instagram page as well as Facebook. You can get the details. Let's hang out if you're in the UK. While the people in Nigeria are having their own fun, we will have our own fun together. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll go through the front pages, stories making the news. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we'll start the front page review with The Nation major headline. More banks close branches for lack of cash to pay customers. And in other news, SAN's CBN must obey Supreme Court ruling. Sadly, over 2,000 dead in Syria earthquakes. NDIC set to pay 30 failed banks depositors. And there are two beautiful pictures. I love the picture of the Adires. I think that happened in Lagos, all for Tinubu Shetima 2023. And a lot of APC bigwigs. We had the governor, the deputy governor, former governor Fashola, as well as Senator Gbenga Ashafa, all fully represented, wearing beautiful looking Adire. And then the other picture shows another campaign. So let's go with the stories. What's going on?
Okay, major headline. As expected, following the CBN's videos showing that banks are the only ones keeping the cash, we're not talking about the cash limits, banks have shut down across the country. And this is going to continue to worsen the cash crunch that is affecting people. Also, the NSA has said this scarcity is affecting military operations. Nigerians can see certain banks, let me just mention some of them, like Zenith, Sterling, and Fidelity, they have closed their branches in Lagos, Ibadan, and Abeokuta and Benin. They've been shut down for about 3 days now because, of course, you know, there have been some attempts to attack their branches. Also, some two-tier banks have left notices on their bank gates. They just say that our server is down, have been several challenges. They will find a way to survive and, you know,
and protect themselves.
Very important. CBN have said, at the cost of this, they put aggressive wages out there due to this restive situation that we have across the country, saying that they've supplied cash to the banks. Now addressing that is the cash limit. The banks have the cash, but there's a cash limit you can withdraw. So it's either you deal with that or you cash. I have another story on it later in another paper.
Right. EFCC has appealed the ruling of Kogi State High Court that ordered the remand of its chairman, Abdul Rashid Bawa, for contempt. EFCC is saying that they have filed a stay of execution of the orders issued by this Kogi court. And if we recall, the order was issued over a case involving Ali Bello, who is identified as the nephew to the Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, and EFCC. So, and also the Kogi court, apart from asking for his remand, has also ordered that the IGP to ensure the committal order was executed, just as he awarded 10 million naira against the EFCC. This is an interesting, you know, what's happening is interesting, and I would like to see, you know, where this ends.
Yeah, so Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, said it has realized enough funds to pay all depositors and creditors of all the 30 closed microfinance, primary mortgage, and deposit money banks. It's calling on depositors and creditors of the affected banks to come for verification and payment of the money that are in excess of their guaranteed sum. So this was said by the Managing Director and CEO of NDIC, Malam Bello Hassan. And he said this during their special day at the 44th Cardinal International Trade Fair. So he says the deposit money banks, primary mortgage banks, payment service banks, and mobile money operators were all insured up to 500,000 per depositor bank. Those of the microfinance banks were insured up to 200,000 per depositor per bank, per bank. So he's now saying that they have won the case, you know, against the shareholders, and now money is available to pay all those people who have lost money when these banks close. So they have to just come to the website, come with their information, and then they'll be able to get their money out. I think this is good news for Nigerians who have lost money.
Sadly, we'll still have to keep talking about how our heart goes out to Syria and Turkey. The toll now hits 20,000, over 20,000 killed, and obviously because of the cold, there are no hopes of getting more people out of the rubbles. As of this happened Monday morning, and today Friday, they said about 6,500 buildings collapsed in Turkey, and 16,000 people died in Turkey. Now, Syria had like less damage, but Syria also has, over the past 12 years, been fighting internal civil war. So they don't even have the people are now UN is transferring aids from Turkey into Syria to help out those in Syria. Really, our heart goes out to everyone who's suffered the loss, and our Nigerian brothers that are caught in the cold, because a lot of them now are homeless because their houses are broken down. But what can we say? Let's just keep praying for the best, that we never have such natural disaster in Nigeria, because only God knows how we can handle it. Yeah. The Punch, major headline, new Naira. Confusion deepens as CBN deadline ends today. Presidency CBN silent on the Supreme Court ruling. Banks, customers await Emefiele's directive. One dies in Lagos-Ibadan road crash. Sad story, you can see the picture. Council reviews training has 14,000 nurses join Japa train. Suspect arrested for killing Ogun couple, son. VC, ASU disagree as federal government shuts university. Buhari orders setting up transition panel on Valentine's Day. Federal government sanctions 302 broadcast stations, issues 67 new licenses. Government vows penalty for fuel marketers rejecting POS transfers. We live in fear as earthquake death tops 20,000. Turkey-based footballer Babajide. So, what are we?
Human interest. So remember the couple in Ogun State who were, who had their house burnt down and they inside killed, and their son drowned. So the police have arrested we called it a maid, but in the report it was reported as an adopted son, an unnamed adopted son. So he was drowned alongside their son. He was able to escape. He was arrested by the police to investigate. He escaped from police detention and he was rearrested. His rearrest has now led to the arrest of all the suspects, according to the Ogun State Police PRO. They've arrested all the suspects now, and he's promising that in the paper that they might be paraded soon. That this has led to strong evidence on what exactly happened, and that they'll be coming out with it very soon.
Yes, this is actually good news.
Yes, good news.
So, what story are you taking, Mariam?
I have the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Yes. Council of Nigeria on Wednesday, they are lamenting the rate at which the country is losing its professional nurses and midwives to foreign countries. It disclosed that over 14,000 nurses had left Nigeria for greener pastures in many other countries. And so the Secretary General of the Registrar of the Council, Dr. Farouk Abubakar, said they were introducing as a solution to making sure that we have nurses on ground, especially in the rural areas. They're introducing what they call a 2-year community nursing and midwifery program. And this is that for those in nursing school, they will go to these rural communities and do a 2-year program. This to make sure that we have nurses on ground, trained nurses on ground, who will also train, and then after that 2-year, they will now go on to continue their studies. But he's also asking the government that to do even better. We need to increase the admission quota in schools, grant approval for the establishment of more colleges of nursing, and accredit nursing departments in eligible universities in the country. I like how it sounds, but I don't know how many Nigerian nurses would want to go to the rural communities.
Yeah, but if you provide accommodation and safety, I think that we are more patriotic than...
Can we provide accommodation and safety?
Yes, that's what I provide.
Housing outside the urban areas are actually very affordable.
Really?
Especially even outside Lagos.
Are we talking about the same Nigeria with all the issues back and forth? I'm just saying because of the fears. I'm not saying
security. So if you talk about security,
accommodation security must be provided. But I think that if the community takes ownership, knowing that they will be getting good health care, they must be the ones to say we protect our nurses because they are providing us good health care and it is possible.
Good accommodation as well.
And make sure that the facility is there for them to work with.
Yeah. When we return, we'll continue with front page review. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger, today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75.
I confirm.
Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half. I try.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Aníkúlá Pókùtì. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Per. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers, and in Punch, BC has a story.
So Nigerians, especially bank customers, are still confused and they are not certain about what is happening with the CBN. If the suspension of the phasing out of the Naira is still going to be happening today. We know that the Supreme Court had on Wednesday ruled that the deadline should be suspended pending the determination of the case brought to it by the 3 governors of Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara. And the court had fixed February 15th to entertain the case. But the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, in response to the suit on Wednesday, said the Supreme Court lacked jurisdiction on the matter. However, a lot of bankers are still confused about the matter, said the CBN has not given them a directive. They don't know if they should still, after today, keep collecting the old notes or pause. You know, some of them had spoken to the Punch earlier, saying that they are not sure of what to do, and also they have realized that the money that the bankers, the money that the CBN sends to the bank has even drastically reduced. Some of them are just able to load their ATMs only once a day. So they are still waiting for a directive to know which way to go. And I think the CBN
old notes or
they should
but even me, I'm surprised that NSA says Supreme Court lack jurisdiction.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court did not rule on its own jurisdiction.
You are not contributing as a lawyer, so
I just want to come and hardship our life join.
Please let me take the story of the president, you know, showing his readiness to leave office, has set up a committee that would handle the transition. So it's called the Presidential Transition Council to oversee the 2023 transition program. It's headed by Boss Mustafa, the SGF, and it is going to be, it's called the Executive Order number 14 of 2023. And this committee includes the heads of, the head of civil service of the Federation, Solicitor General, permanent secretaries, Cabinet Affairs Office, General Service Office. A lot of people that are involved in this current administration would work together to ensure that there's a seamless transition from this presidential the presidential team to the next presidential team. And I feel that shows a sign of there's not going to be postponing the election or anything. Things would go well, and I'm looking forward to that. All right, next paper is Daily Sun. Major headline: polls, federal government directs closure of universities, others. We are 90% ready for election, says INEC. I thought it would be like 100% by now. APC urges Buhari to respect Supreme Court order, directs Emefiele to comply. Not to vote credible candidates, that's from Arewa leaders. Council of State meets today on Naira swap. Federal government calls oil marketers to accept POS, mobile transfers, or face sanctions. Government handover, SGF heads council, transition council as Buhari signs executive order 14. Soldiers feared killed. Monarch beheaded as violence erupts in Delta community. 3 G5 governors absent at Oak, Idoma, honors Wike, others. APC planning to hack INEC servers, Tambuwa alleges. Ruling party fighting for old notes to buy votes, that's from PDP. Take their money, give us your votes, Obi tells Nigerians. And final story I'll be taking here: Abia Guba, Supreme Court affirms Emenike as APC candidate. So many stories.
So I have the Ipman story. So good news, Ipman has announced that they will start lifting petrol from the Ijebu-Egba tank farms in Lagos at 172 naira per litre. And speaking on that was the chairman of Ipman, Mr. Adebowale Olujimi, who says the NNPC has delivered 150 million litres this month to the tank farms currently, and they are discharging that at the jetty currently. Okay. And that is hoping that, you know, the products will now be sold at the right retail price of 180 something naira per litre. Hopefully with this we'll see all the queues ending. That's all I want to take. All the remaining things you see inside the story do not really concern us. Concern federal government, they should please deal with it. But to the one that affects our lives is the good news that he has shared. Okay,
Northern Elders Forum has declared that the region would vote credible candidates in the forthcoming general election. The Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Hakim Baba Ahmed, said it took exception to a statement that has been credited to Chief Ayo Adebanjo, that's the leader of the Pan-Yoruba group, Afenifere, who said that Nigeria would be doomed if it failed to elect the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi as president. The forum says that it took note of these comments, and for them, they find, to say the least, they find the statement irresponsible and condemnable. It's the worst thing that can be said in promoting a candidate, but that is the business of the candidate. We do not, and then he goes further and says that these elections will not be won by threats and insults. Nigerians will not be scared from exercising their choices freely. The unity and survival of Nigeria are not dependent on politicians who think that they can intimidate citizens or instigate actions that would subvert a credible election and peaceful transition to the next administration. Anyway, he ends this by saying the North is committed to supporting a credible election under peaceful conditions and will support any candidate who emerges as the leader through it, and so on and so forth.
Yes,
Right.
so there's tension in Asemoko, a fishing community in Dokwa East local government area of Delta State, as a result of the clashes that has claimed so many lives. So among the victims is a traditional ruler who was beheaded according to local sources. There was also another unconfirmed report saying that 4 officers were also killed when their military patrol vehicle was ambushed by hoodlums. At the time of filing the report, they said the cause of the crisis is yet to still be established. Another local source said the hoodlums ambushed the army personnel in an attack, killed 3 officers, and others sustained injury. And another officer died at the Federal Medical Center in Asaba. Some people are saying that the crisis is between 2 local communities in the area, but they don't know exactly what is happening. They've confirmed the killing of the traditional ruler, but the spokesperson of the police has not confirmed the killing of the army people.
Okay, so federal government, good news for all the students who were scared that they would be... Oh, okay, let's move on to Tribune. Major headline: CBN keeps mum on Supreme Court order, blames new note scarcity on Ordin. Your money is safe, NDIC assures depositors. Police arrest suspects involved in murder of Ugo couple son. Federal government threatens sanctions against filling stations rejecting POS. Cargoes trapped in Lagos ports as banks suspend operations. Nobody can pay duty. That's from ANLCA. Article in Kano promises to restore its commercial status. Polls. Federal government orders closure of university for 3 weeks. Buhari begins May 29 exit process. Sets up transition committee. And what story are we taking first?
Elections. Federal government has orders closure of universities from February 22nd and March 14th. And this is because of security concerns of students and staff during the conduct of the presidential, National Assembly and gubernatorial and state assembly elections respectively. This is acting on the directive of the Minister of Education, Madam Adamu, and the National Universities Commission. That's just a...
Right. So,
according to the General Manager, Corporate Communications and Stakeholder Management of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authorities, former DPR, they said that it has come to their attention that some retail outlets are not accepting the use of POS machines or transfers to buy fuel at their filling stations.
Yeah.
And they frown at this behavior. They said this is causing untold hardship to Nigerians and that it should be stopped with immediate effect. They also threatened to sanction such retail outlets, petrol stations that refuse.
I can't wait for that sanction because it happens to us. We had ATM and they now directed us to somewhere right within their compound where we had to buy money so that we can now use in their place.
Exactly.
So it was a racket round tripping.
Yes.
So the story about cargoes being trapped, who has that story?
I have the story. So many cargoes yesterday were trapped at the Lagos ports of Apapa and Tinkan because of the suspension of operations of the banks. So they are not able to pay for their duties, and so they are not able to move their cargoes inside the. And if the banks do not open, they will not be able to. So this is causing even more gridlock. Yes, in that area, they are still hoping and waiting till the banks open so that they can get money and make payments. That's
there was no activity yesterday.
They were suspending they won't go into demurrage because you know that
demurrage
it will happen, Abi. Vanguard, final paper we can take today. Old notes will obey Supreme Court ruling. That's from federal government. That's the only one that said they would actually obey. Every other person was like, they are quiet. And of course, we're taking the story about federal government shutting down university. Let me find something we haven't taken. Currency swap policy affecting military operations. I think we mentioned that. Maureen Alagoa named NSITF CEO as federal government reconstitute board. Petrol shortage. Independent marketers begin lifting. I think we've taken bank workers threatening to down tools over attacks.
Yes, so I took that story. The National Union of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions Employees, NUBFI, has threatened to withdraw their members from, system nationwide, from banks, and shut down the banking system over the increasing insecurity and attack on staff occasioned by this, scarcity. And they condemned what is happening. They've also called on the CBN to urge the CBN to review the withdrawal cash policy limits that is affecting them. That is because it's stopped at 200,000, and it has affected over 200,000 POS operators across the country who also cannot get cash. They are the ones who lying down across banks, hoping to get withdraw beyond the limit. So this has to be reviewed. I love that this is coming from an institution or a group of bodies that the CBN can understand, of like minds. They know what is happening, and this withdrawal limit is not working for most people.
I pray that our leaders find place in their hearts for the people who are suffering from untold hardship based on this policy. We'll take a quick break. When we return, somebody will be joining us in the show. Very, very important person. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I respect,
they'll judge you definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Mom, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it, but if I find out,
when they're nice divorcees,
I would just.
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira, take 10K, take 15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the part of the show where I really have a lot of fun. Why? I'm highly competitive. I'm not going to ask you regular questions with me. I'm not well. So you're going to be as nuts as I am today, yes?
Ready.
Alrighty. Hey, sorry. Can you put it down here, please? King Dion versus Tony. Oh, thank you. See all the Lee Kuku things you do. They make me... Oh no. Who said this?
I want to every day closer. Girl, I want to make you closer.
Okay.
Oscillating closer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun have you had on the show?
11, 10.
11?
10, yes.
11? Now we're going to terminate the show. Please, my producer, this is where we're cutting it. Cameraman, cut it. You don't cut. Okay, I'm just kidding.
The hottest music videos.
Check it out. Let's go.
Topping the charts. Right here on the Max World Chart Show.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show today, I said earlier, is a very special guest. The Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Kadiri Hamzat, is joining us. He will be speaking on the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's re-election bid, why Lagosians should vote for him, and what they've done with the current mandates over the past 4 years. You can join the conversation by calling us on 081-270-53687, or you could tweet to us at TVC Connect, #YourViewTVC. So my first question is the question that is very obvious. Welcome. Let's welcome you on a calm note, but a lot of Nigerians and a lot of your people that you've come to serve, we are apprehensive, we are worried, we have been suffering, people queuing up to try and get cash, like the money you deposited in the bank and you have no access to it. So my first question to you is, what is your view on this Naira change, cash limits, and this culture change the CBN is forcing on us at this point in time?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Well, I've listened to various shows, including yours, where people have said it's a good policy. But so let's look at the facts around the world. The percentage of currency in circulation compared to total money around the world in Japan is 20%. In the US is 12%. In the UK it's about 6%. Go and look at it. In Nigeria it's 5%. So to say that we have too much money in circulation is ridiculous. Wow. Because the total money, meaning your bank account, your current account, your whatever, your domiciliary money, total money in Nigeria is about 51 trillion.
Okay.
What we have outside is 3.35 trillion according to CBN. So if you look at that, that's about 5%.
So we don't have a problem with liquidity.
So when you print currency, the essence is not to put it in a vault. The essence is for people to spend it, to grow the economy. So it's truly amazing that we are. I don't know. I mean, I'm just confused.
Because this expense why is counterproductive. Why? Because
you don't have. It's not that to say that we have too much money in circulation compared to total money just doesn't make any sense. And the statistics is out there for all of us to see. We can Google it. In Japan, it's 20% all over the world. And these are societies which are actually cashless. Yes. So remember now, in Jigawa State, according to MBS, only 18% of women have bank accounts in Jigawa State. So what happens to those 81%?
Yeah, disempowered Nigeria.
You know, so those 81% in Jigawa State, across the country, they told us that between the ages of 18 and 45, only 41.8% have bank accounts.
So obviously,
so what happens to the rest? So it's okay to say cashless, fine, but go to Oshodi and see the amount of money that the people transact in a day. People have done master's research on it. It's about 140 million. That's about 4 or 5 years ago. So if you shut that down, you are creating chaos.
You're going to kill the economy.
Yes.
You're going to kill the economy.
You know, I'm hearing you say this and I'm wondering because CBN says they sat down with stakeholders before they did this. Who are the stakeholders?
I don't know.
Because they've not called us and we are Nigerian.
No, so you see, the challenge is this, you know, and I was talking to some MDs of banks who said, oh, this is a good policy when you look at it, though the implementation is wrong. But the reality is that I lived in the United States for 14 years. Aunties, you have house girls. Can you afford house girl in US?
No. No.
So when you go to K2 market, that man pulling that truck to help you, do you have that anywhere in UK?
No.
So why do you want to live your life and monetary policy based on something that's totally different from yours? And I tell you this, I tell you this, a director in the Ministry of Works funded his education years back in that K2 pulling cards. So people have done good things with their life in that system. So why are we killing something that is not there? We are looking for stuff. Exactly.
So the Minister for Finance had said that, you know, she wasn't carried along on this. You know, in fact, when the Naira swap was announced, the new Naira notes and she came out publicly within a few days. I was wondering if they did not carry her along. It was not a statement. Should they carry her along? So now that some governors have gotten taking the bull by the horn and gone to court to get, you know, an injunction to stop this, do you see a possibility in a review of this?
Well, difficult to say. I really can't say. I mean, I really can't say. I'm just hopeful that everybody will listen to Supreme Court. They said on the 15th hearing, so let's see how it goes. And so as of now, we can exchange old Naira till 15th. Because the reality is, people still told me this morning they can't even transfer. So because we don't want to go there. Exactly. We don't stress our technological readiness. It not really stresses. Now that you are pushing it, it's breaking down. So
it's broken down.
So we need to look at it.
Yes, sir. Let's come to Lagos State. I've done a bit of Nigeria right now. We know that Governor Sanwo-Olu has given an instruction for palliatives to be shared across citizens or residents of Lagos State. Why do you think he's doing this at this time? Let's not rub the goodness we see with elections, but some people are also asking, are you sure it's not because of the elections, because he wants to be re-elected, that he's giving this at this time?
So we've all started by saying there is a crisis.
Yeah.
So, and I was watching a television program this morning when a senior advocate, Robert Clark, said that yesterday, in order to get 100,000, he has to pay 125,000 naira. He said it on national television. So if somebody of that status cannot get currency, it means the average people also cannot get currency. Even if you have the money, you work hard all your lives, you have money, but you can't access it. So the question is, what can we do? That's exactly what we did during COVID, to say, okay, let's go to the less vulnerable, let's give them some palliatives, some food items and so on, so that to relieve people. Fortunately for us, we are now producing rice. So we have bags of rice, like I think 40,000 bags of rice that we will distribute to people across various segments. And then we said, okay, everybody that takes our BRT buses or our LAG ferry, the LAG ride, the last stop, so first mile and last stop buses, those small buses, we give them 50% discounts as long as you have your cowrie cards. So as of this morning, it has started. Somebody sent me a tweet to say, Oshodi to your now there's 225 naira. It used to be about 450. So it's half 50%. It has started. So yesterday we allowed them to reconfigure their machines. But this morning it has started and Lagosians will be paying our price. The essence for us is a lot of money for us, but the essence is let's find a way to relieve things for Lagosians.
You just answered the question on implementation.
Yeah, no, yes, that's for the transportation, but for the food, who is eligible and how can they get to that?
And so, we've done, like I said, we've done it during COVID. So usually we have the NGOs, we have churches, we have mosques, and we have religious leaders and so on and so forth. So they have channels by which they know people who are vulnerable. Okay. So it's the same channels that we use again. Okay. We just send it through those churches, those mosques, and then they distribute to the people that are less vulnerable.
This is very commendable, really, because for me, I know that when food is not your problem, you don't have a problem. But what are there other measures besides food and transportation, that you have done to also ease people's lives at this time?
Well, I mean, it's so remember that government is also, going through some issues also. So, for example, I mean, if we are paying some of our vendors, we might have challenges now. You understand? So we might have challenges. So we're looking at all spheres. What do we do again? What do we do when people go to the hospital and so on and so forth? But again, we quantify these things. So it's not so. People have said that, why don't you do it across all transportation, even the ones that... The challenge is, how do we quantify it? How? So that we don't also now run into trouble. But with Carica, when you tap in, at the back end, nobody can tell us that, oh, I'm doing 4 runs before, I'm not doing 7. Because of 50%. Exactly. But because we have the technology, you can know, okay, you did 4 runs, these are the number of people that enter your buses, we can then pay. So that there will be no confusion. So we don't want to create any crisis at the same time.
Fantastic. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the Deputy Governor is still with us. You can still call, you can still contribute. We'll continue the conversation after this break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Your car?
Yes.
What he reports from our public authorities, we will know what to do.
This is 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rockheart.
No, of the goat when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female
stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
By China.
When you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that Gen Z, I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they pass exam. Don't drink this thing. Where baby you are on here? Drink out. If I land you.
And ask questions if I want to ask questions. And if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say, you people can just be on 3rd Mainland Bridge on a bike. And the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change? What would change the scenario? For, like, does it matter where? Do you want?
Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, and we've discussed extensively about the Naira, change in Naira, as well as the palliative that Lagos State has instituted. If you have enjoyed the discount by using Cowrie card, please call and tweet so that other people will know that it actually works.
It's working, yeah.
Yeah. So let me take you to another question concerning transportation. When the president came to launch the Blue Rail line, we did not hear what. Everywhere was Blue Rail. We had when the governor came on the show, he mentioned it. When the commissioner came on the show, as in like, it was this. When are we going to start using the Blue Rail?
So if you notice that by standard, all over the world, you must test it. So Dubai tested for 6 months without passengers. But what happens is you bring in stakeholders. So for example, school children, how do you use your Cowrie cards? How do you actually enter a train? So, you know, they will say, mind the gaps and all those things. So people need to know all this before you actually start. So what we are doing now is we are taking stakeholders, school children, market women. So you can't carry this, you can carry this. So that's what will happen for probably the next 2-3 months. So that we test everything, make sure everything runs well. That's where you do all the cracks, and then you are able to start the process.
So by stakeholders, you mean, I love the example of schools children. Are you going to be writing to schools, organizing kids to sensitize them on how to use the facility?
Absolutely.
Exactly is good.
Absolutely. So basically, you know, you write to schools. We can't take all the students. So you take university students, you take secondary school students, primary school students with their teachers, because basically you have a number that you need to take. So if you go on 1-2 rounds and then they come back again, another set, and so on. So all stakeholders, market women, artisans, and small numbers. So they have to send representatives so that, and then hopefully they can spread the message out. I entered, you must do this, you must do that. Because for example, if you rush the turnstile, you might have issues. It might not open. So basically, how do you use your Cowrie cards? And you must have Cowrie cards. So people cannot even come there if they don't have Cowrie cards. And so on and so forth. So everybody needs to know that before the operation actually starts.
Okay, so I think we'll move on to the next conversation, which is elections. And there's been mixed reactions concerning the decision of INEC to partner with the Lagos State Parks Management Committee for distribution of electoral material and also personnel. And most of the conversation is around their credibility, some political leanings. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think INEC has to make a decision as to who they use. What they do is to carry materials from A to B. You know, it's a problem that we sort of atomize everything in our country. Coca-Cola distributes Coca-Cola every day to nooks and corners of this country. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Well, sir, this is elections,
yes.
and it's a very sensitive time.
I agree, but the reality is that we will not use Ghanaians.
Yeah.
We will not use Togolese. We must use Nigerians. And remember, this is not the first time. We've done elections since 1999. It is these same people that they use.
Maybe then they were under NURTW, and now they are under Lagos State Parks Management and under the leadership of MC. So the conversation is MC has his leaning, and they feel it might be. Yes.
Well, and so, like I said, those are decisions that INEC has to make. But the reality is that they are organized more than people think. And I'm not here to defend MC or anybody. I don't know their operations like that. But the reality is that it is easier to deal with an organized sector. But in Lagos, we are lucky. Those people that do BRT, we have private sector people that do BRT, but they are bigger bosses. They are bigger so if INEC wants to use them, they are private companies. They can use them. So we can't dictate for INEC what they do, but they must be. But for me, like I said, that's exactly why some people say, oh, because of election, we want to change now. You know, why do we atomize everything?
It's also
around
important
election?
that you established the trajectory before. So INEC have always worked with the NURT every elections across states. But what happened that made Lagos State formed the Lagos Parks and Gardens Committee aside NURT? Was there a clash? Was there the group pulling out? What exactly happened that made it what it is now, and why?
Yes, so basically, we've spoken to them and said, listen, you want to collect your dues. It's okay. If you're I'm a member of Nigerian Society of Engineers. I pay my dues. Nobody comes to my house to harass me. Find a way within so that you don't cause chaos on the road.
Sure.
And therefore, there are also different groups fighting. You remember in Lagos Island what happened. And that's why we said enough is enough. You cannot be creating chaos. And that's why we said enough is enough. Let's stop this nonsense. So it's to protect the citizens. That's why we did what we did. Now, like I said, INEC will make a decision what they want to do. But remember, if NRT, at the time, MC was their head of NURTW in Lagos anyway at that time. So I'm not sure exactly. So really, I don't think it matters. For me, I don't think it matters.
Okay. So apart from INEC preparation for the elections, how ready is Lagos State for the coming elections?
Oh well, it's the citizens. I'm sure you know that Lagos State registered 7,016,000 people, the highest in the country. As at the last count, I think about 6.7 million people have collected their PVC. Out of that, over 7 million. So what we are pushing out is for people to go out and vote. We are convinced that we've done enough, we've fulfilled our promises, and the Lagosians are very sophisticated, they are intelligent, they will make the right decisions. And that right decision is that they will vote for our party.
Is there a guarantee for security? Because someone like me now, I'm asking myself, do you want to go out on
No, you have to vote. You don't even say
if I hear on my head and I'm home. So it's a question a lot of people are asking.
How do we ensure that don't take over?
So the reality is that luckily Lagos has been shown to know peace for the past, and that's why the governor refused to go to last debate. But for the first time in our campaign, we've been going campaign, we dance, we sing. It was when the PDP candidate Jandor went to Surulere, and we saw it on video. So that's why we said, this nonsense has to stop. You cannot bring violence to our election. So we've been going out, we've gone to almost all parts of the state. There is no single violence. Why are we going to, why the violence? People are there to receive us. So violence and the commissioner of police has assured us there will be massive security apparatus across the state. If you actually want to impose violence, you'll be sorry for yourself.
I'm seriously hoping that cuts across
seriously
all areas and
of the states are being, not just the developed.
No, of the state. Each polling booth with civil defense, the soldiers, and then each polling booth will be manned. That's what the security apparatus are telling us. They are taking it very seriously. And if anybody thinks he wants to do something strange, they'll be accountable for their actions.
So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue. I think this time we'll dig into the achievements of this current this administration and find out. Let him tell us why people should still vote for him. Okay. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abby?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I will drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
Wait, I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
How many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
My name is Detective Samuel Amen.
Jesus! You have 5 seconds to start talking. Would you be scared if someone you knew that was dead suddenly just shows up alive?
How do you even open your mouth and say some nonsense like that?
What nonsense are you talking about?
She's dead and she's not coming back!
Don't use that against me.
You don't tell me my daughters. I know my daughters. I gave birth to them.
So why didn't you report to the police?
No, I mean, that won't be a good idea.
Why are you so one-sided? Why not?
And when I see him at the lobby, I'm gonna catch work for him. Then I'll wrap my hands around him and pull him into a deep kiss.
Are you still seeing him?
Seriously? Why should I let go?
What? Are you married?
It's complicated.
She made a huge mistake.
I really want to be with him.
He may have an emotional crackdown.
If this is love, I'm down for it.
enemy has refused to fall. What did the gods say?
It's only a weak man that lays his hands on a woman.
What? I will shut down your sharp mouth since you're not killed by your parents.
Eh? It can be.
Now that worries me.
Why, if I may ask?
It is ignorance that leads the cockroach into a feast of chickens.
You have a long journey ahead of you tomorrow.
Off you go.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
What brings you here?
I have a message.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, and now we want to go into what have you done. So we've had the pleasure on this show to talk to the Labour Party governor, governorship candidate. We've spoken to the PDP governorship candidate, and everybody.
We've spoken to the.
We've also spoken to the APC governor, the current governor here,
the governorship candidate,
and we've heard
all sides.
Both sides, we've heard, no, they did not do anything. If the number is not the right thing, they are saying this, they are saying that. But let's start with where we have been, which is transportation and road infrastructure. It is a major concern for Lagosians. Every time construction is going on, our lives literally pause because it's a lot of traffic on the road. And there are some places where there's still no major improvement, even despite the fact that a lot of work has been done. So what would you say, what would you highlight as your major infrastructural achievement in terms of roads, and which area would you acknowledge you haven't done enough and you're looking forward to face those areas and if you get re-elected?
So the way to look at it, I'm a data person. People say, oh, you've not done anything and so on. Lagos has, as of 1999, Lagos has about 9,219 roads. Only 7% were tarred in 1999. Today, it's 58%. So we've been making gradual process. Now, the number will keep increasing because societies are developing faster than government. So to say that, that's wrong. If you say the facts and say that, oh, this has not been done. So in terms of transport, part of the problem we found out is it's not just even good roads. Is how we use the roads.
Yeah.
And that's why we realized that Lagos, for example, roundabouts don't work for us. It was something we took from the colonial time, and then we just think it's working. It doesn't work for us because of our density. So Lagos has a density of 211 cars per square kilometers. Now, Anambra has 11. So you cannot then use the same model that works in Anambra in Lagos. So roundabout, so that's why you see Lekki 1, Igodo, and the rest that we are taking away the roundabouts and using signalization. So it's to say that we are a state that is, in terms of size, we are very small, 0.4% of the landmass of Nigeria, but we are hosting 11% of the population.
I like the fact that you spew data, so...
Yeah, so because it's important for us to understand that. So, to say that, there will be traffic in Lagos. There will be traffic because the number of cars that we have is 10, 15 times more than any other state in Nigeria. And then we have a smaller land.
Yeah.
So it's not like Niger State that is 8% of the landmass of Nigeria and has about 10% of our cars. So scientifically we see that we have, so the challenge for us is how do we utilize our roads? And it's part of the problems that I mentioned before. That's part of the reason why we created the park. We wanted to have control because part of our challenges is that people park inappropriately, especially our downfall drivers. So how do we make them responsible? How do we make sure we can track it? Those are the issues for us. So we have a command center where we can see where the traffics are. So the moment there is a gridlock in 6 areas in Lagos, there will be traffic. And we know those areas. And so the challenge for us is how do we build our roads better? So we pick roads based on traffic usage. So it's not because I like you or I don't like you. No. So what is the traffic bearing capacity of that road? How do we discharge traffic? And that's what makes decisions for us. So we are sorry that sometimes we have to inconvenience, but we have to build the roads in order to make life easier for our people.
Also, some roads have been seen to, if they had been done, to would really relieve the stress on our major roads. And I talked about the Tedimu road with the governor. if at the time when the Badagry Express Road to Okoko was being constructed and outward,
there was that option.
The Tedimuwo Road option was working, not just the bridge end of it, nobody would be shouting. Because even though it wasn't done, it was the alternative that the commercial buses started using. So we just saw them, everybody destroying the road and worsening the living conditions of people on that side. So it's important that that road is done. I'm hoping that, as the governor had said, this year.
Because that's your area. So, but remember that Tedimuwo was awarded when I was Commissioner for Works. It was awarded, it was started. Unfortunately, it wasn't completed. But that's not the story. The story is this. You must also look at what is happening. So, for example, we are doing Bubamarua along down your axis, which some people call Badmos Road, right? So, Bubamarua now is concrete because we know that where you have all those tank farms, NNPC have told us about 40% of the total PMS usage in Nigeria comes from that place.
Yes.
But in our meetings with NNPC recently, they've begged us to stop construction of that road, and we've stopped. It's about 55% completed. Like we said, it's concrete, so you must cure or 11 days, whatever, before you can do everything. But we've stopped it because they said that it's hindering supply. So we will stop the road temporarily to make sure at least, let's see how this. So you must also look at the situation.
The other things happening.
And of course, and remember, transportation and traffic management is just a component. You must also think about health. You must also think about education and so on and so forth. So that's why it's difficult for us to, apart from the technicalities. So because in Lagos, when you move traffic, you also move water. Because I've listened to a candidate of a party that comes out and says, oh, they don't do any drainage. Oh my goodness, what are you talking about? So the gentleman doesn't understand Lagos. He said we have 6 canals. That's nonsense. That's not true. What we have are 6 systems. So we regard a system as connection of canals. So for example, from Agege all the way, Shogoro, and then all the way to Odoyalaro. That's about 18, 19, 20 kilometers.
Wow.
So there are about 17 canals that link it up and discharge to that place.
Wow.
Because along that axis, you don't have bodies of water. So we have 6 systems like that. So when he says we have only 6 canals in Lagos, I laugh. Because think about it, in terms of the environment, it's not a question of even the canals. So today, in today's world, is mitigation and remediation. So we must find it. So basically, we must change our lifestyles.
Okay.
Think about it. California had flood. 16 people died. They never had flood before. 16 people died in the state of California. That's one of the most advanced countries in the world. In Germany, they had flood that killed 180 people, the size of Belgium. So we must look around us. So when the Atlantic Ocean, when there is a problem in UK is melting, it's coming here.
Yeah.
We are part of it. So we must say, how do we change our lifestyles? And those are, so Lagos State has a department that is called Resilience Department. If there is a major shock around the world, how do we survive? What do we do? So buying fire trucks, buying all these things is not accidental.
Okay.
We are preparing that in case there is a problem, these are the things we need, and we're preparing it. So when people talk that they don't understand governance, I'm sorry. And you look, if you want the MD of a bank, or you have a real estate company,
Yes.
the person managing it must understand real estate. If not, it will fail. Because so that's the bottom line. The challenge, the tragedy in our country is that we give our society to people who have no understanding. That is the tragedy. Meanwhile, so the MD of a bank in Nigeria is a banker, economist, accountant, and the rest. They have the requisite knowledge.
When the CBA is not the same. So I said this. I wanted to, say, you don't need engineering knowledge for certain things. For instance,
absolutely.
In words, Eric Moore, as you're climbing the Igomu Bridge, you see the bars are already exposed.
Yes.
The tar has left it. It's not as protected as it was by whatever they use, the concrete, the bitumen that they used to cover that area. The bars are already extending out. And you'll be expecting that government will pass this road too. They will see it. you will see it. You don't need any knowledge. So when somebody comes out tomorrow and says that place wasn't well done, you know, it's public knowledge.
Well, so you are talking about management. So what we have, let me explain to you. What we have in Lagos is we have a team that their job is, if a pole is down, they should go and fix it. So that's why we tell even everybody in the executive council, when you are going home and you see something, you must send a picture to your colleague. They must know. There has to be a way for us to know that, oh, this is a challenge, this is a problem.
This particular one has been forever.
So but you see, the problem is that where you are talking about. So let me tell you the geography of that place. When we were expanding Lagos Badagry, the Maza Bridge, the Maza Bridge is not just an ordinary bridge. That's why it was only a particular company, I don't need to mention, that was able to do it because of the water flow. I didn't even know it, but they were able to show us. And so part of the problem that you're talking about is because we built that bridge, you can't expand it.
But this is the dry bridge I'm talking about, the Igomo one. Inwards Igomo. But the bars are now exposed. The Maza Bridge is working fine. I use that.
Because I know we fixed that.
No, the concrete, the grounds and everything.
Okay, we go and look at it.
Eric Moore, Inwards Igomo.
Yes, that's another major issue that I feel we should address, because while the role of the citizenry in collating data because we don't expect you or the governor to be everywhere, but we expect there should be a channel where if we see something wrong, we can send that message and somebody can work on it, or at least somebody would respond. Sometimes it is like, make me feel like you heard me. That Nigerians want.
Absolutely.
So we saw that message, we saw that the Eric Moore Bridge is open, don't worry. We would, in a few weeks, we would get to it, and it helps. BC has a question.
Yes, sir. So I know that you're bidding for re-election, and the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So tell us why you think Nigerians and Lagosians should give you another opportunity. What is that thing that you're going to be doing when you come back that you haven't done this time?
Well, I thank you very much for that question. So, as you know, the needs of people will always be there. So, no government will be able to realistically finish. If not, there will be no need for government in the US or so on. So because our needs are always dynamic, and they are as such. So for example, let's look at each sector. So for example, in health, every bed that you provide in a maternal hospital, studies have shown that you save 10 lives. Every bed. When I say bed, I don't just mean a bed, meaning with the medical whatever. That's what started the idea of MCC's Maternal Child Center that we are building. It started during BRF, we've expanded it. So our study shows that we need 18 in our state. I'm sorry, 16 in our state. We built 12. We are going ahead with the next 4. We must finish that. We are building the largest pediatric hospital. Everybody in Lagos know that hospital, Lagos Island. We've heard about it. That's where majority of the people in that were born. We are now building a 7-story hospital because it's crowded. The doctors are there and the rest, but it's crowded. People are used. So we are massive hospital. So we are expanding it. Now, that is in health. And across, somebody came here and also said that, oh, he has traveled and there is no PAC in. Well, the truth is we have about 418 PACs in Lagos. However, only 67 are flagship. What does flagship mean? It means they open 24/7. So for example, if you go to Lasamaja, you will open 24/7. If you open, so our challenge is how do we make all of them open 24/7? How? Now, it's a question of staff, it's a question of equipment and the rest. The challenge also is that constitutionally, PACs, this is local government. But the reality is, I don't think they have the resources. Wow. And we blame them. We blame them because, but think about it. The federal government has 54% of the resources, plus the, what they call the environmental something, which are another 2%. That's 56%. State has 27%. And the local government has about 24%. Now, when you share that 24% among 777, you can imagine. So in terms of contour, They have. So we must also look at how we distribute our resources. If you say these are the
closer to the people.
Exactly. So, but the challenge is we take it up with them to say, look, let's also come together and do it. Now, the reality is all those 57 that are, it wasn't 57 when we came into government, but we've gotten into that. So, for example, at Ajayemi Felodo, one just became a flagship because we've built it up with Obalende Ikoyi. Now, the question is that in certain areas, like VI, for example, like Ikoyi, for example, there are not many PACs there. Because it seems the majority of the people there will not even use majority, not everybody. So it's not as active. And what we've done in Lagos is that if a doctor resigns or leaves, because I know we've said about it or whatever, Japa, they don't need approval of governor. It's already there. You must replace it. If a teacher retires or resigns for whatever reason, you must replace. So we have automatic replacement strategy for our doctors and for our teachers. So we are doing everything, but you must keep pushing, because the reality is that we don't, if you go to really Agege General Hospital today, Lagos has 42 general hospitals. You realize that 40% of them are not from Lagos. So the problem we have is we don't even know the number that will come. So they are not from Lagos, but you can't turn people back. When we did hip replacement surgery in Lasut, we brought Lagosians from all over the world, whatever. About 40% came from Southeast. Are you going to turn them back?
No. You can't. So we've discussed.
Let's beg other states also
to improve their own to reduce the stress on
the Lagos state.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look into, you have the themes project. We'll look into education and see what are the improvements within that area. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
nǹkan ṣe kọ́sí bóyá tí kò bá ṣe ẹ́ wọ́n tẹ́ gbọ́ zula ni ẹ ó ṣiṣẹ́ pa. iṣẹ́ tí mò ń ṣe yìí wò é.
mọ́tò tí mo ṣe ṣáà rí.
Your car?
Yes.
Like.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth?
We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body. So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda Ultimate Search?
You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still interviewing the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, and Mariam, over to you.
Yes, so I am curious about how or what the roles of a deputy governor is, and especially a deputy governor like you, you are very well versed in Lagos State business, just as well as the governor and everyone that comes here, from Lagos State. And I'm wondering, is there a clash of egos, or how do you work? Do you work well together, and how does that affect, the policies that we eventually have here in Lagos State?
Well, we are lucky in Lagos that we don't have any ego or clash. The responsibility is so much that you just have to find ways to give different people different and a lot of people might not know, when we were commissioners, the closest person to me was Governor Sanwo-Olu. At that time, we never knew we'd be governor, whatever. So we've been very close for 15, 16 years. You know, of all the commissioners then, it was probably the only one that ever visited his house. We were close. The family know each other. We just became friends. So maybe that made it easier. I don't know. But our relationship is solid. We work together. We make, you know, every decision that is made, I'm aware of it. So we call ourselves at 1 a.m. Omabuluwa. And then we come, we start talk. This is my thinking. This, what are you thinking, and so on and so on. So we have no issues. That's why we are able to work together.
I really like that. I would like us to go back to achievements, because really, at the end of the day, Lagosians feel like there's something about this election. This election is giving Nigerians options, and even in Lagos State, there are options. And I would like you to once again address. We've spoken about health, we've spoken about infrastructure. I'd like you to talk about the achievements within the educational sector that you're very proud of.
Well, basically, we're building standard schools, meaning instead of the normal chalk, we're now using whiteboards. Vetland School, for example, is an example. Elemora School is an example. We are building standardized schools across the state. We're renovating buildings, but that's not the most important. Building is good, but buildings don't teach. What teaches are teachers. And of course, the conduct of the students. So basically, counseling is back in our schools. So that, you know, we've all been in primary schools. We do stupid things, right? So when we are growing up, we think of various things, we do this. So counseling, guidance and counseling is back in our schools. And, you know, our teachers are extremely important. Because your furniture will break, windows will break, you can replace them. Our teachers, children stay in primary school, for example, for 6 years. Our teachers will be there for 30 years, 25 years. So if we don't take good care of them, it's a problem. And that's why for our teachers, we've done massive trainings for our teacher, because it's okay for you to have the knowledge, but how do we impact it to a 6-year-old child, a 7-year-old child? So today, a lot of our public schools are better than a lot of private schools in Lagos today. Now, the first thing is this: every teacher in our school is qualified. So what do I mean? He has certification. He has gone through educational training. So it's not that I have a BS in mathematics. It doesn't mean I can teach it. I might know it, but so there are skills to teach. Have you gotten that skills? Every teacher in public, primary and secondary school that have that. Now, for our teachers also, we've given all of them the tablets.
Oh yeah, that allows. Let me pause you on that tablet note. Let's take a call from Yakubu. We've lost about 2 calls when I'm trying to get your point. So Yakubu has called in from Dokwemo. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
We can hear you. You're live.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to Deputy Governor of Lagos State, the person of Mr. Hamzat.
Good morning, sir.
First and foremost, sir, let me begin by thank you. Like governor, like deputy, we have been lucky in this state. From our choice Bola to Tinubu to Fashola and Ambode, and then now we have the best brain that handle the Lagos State matter now. And then I would say that let me even thank you, sir, because there was a time you were with Mr. Yori this morning. When I complained that very particular day, there was a road from St. Joseph down to number 1, that the road was so bad. But as I'm talking to you now, the road has been fixed. I really need to thank you for that. You did well, because that day you promised that you are going to look into it, and then that they look into. Having said that, the cowrie, you mentioned cowrie. The cowrie car that we are using, yes, it has been working. It has tested it. The percent has been reduced from Oshodi down to Yanokaja. Now it's 225 naira. Yes, it has been working. I can testify to that. And at the end, you have TW, sir. I can tell you for free, because you made mention earlier that you are sensitizing them in order for them not to cause hold up and all that. They are still collecting money on the road. If you can be able to look into that for us, and then we'll be happy. Then I can also tell you that you make mention of the other party that come to your field, because I was the other party last time. If you want to demarcate creating a working system. Sir, with due respect to the other party, I don't need to say something else to them, but you need 1,000 lines to be marketing the working system like Lagos. Because Lagos is working, the citizens of Lagos State can testify to that. Even if anybody don't testify to it, I can testify to that because when you want to demarket a working system, you need 1,000 miles. So if you can see, if they are able to say something on the studio, you see that they were bringing maybe period to 1999 picture. Show Lagos State and look at the Lagos State the way it is. But they forget to show the better part of Lagos State. We know what they are doing, and then we have already have who we are going to protect for. So that is that. So
thank you so much.
Good working going. And
I think he's a happy Lagosian.
He is. Thank you so much. So, well, you were explaining about the tablets. We've heard extensively about how that has improved.
So every teacher has a tablet. You know, when we were growing up, there is this lesson notes. And it's a problem in the sense that my lesson note will probably be different from yours. Even though the subject will be the same, the topics will be the same, but the way we customize it will be different. So the challenge is it takes them time. So now the lesson note has been developed. It gets downloaded to the tablets, and then we can geolocate you as a teacher. Because part of the problem also is absenteeism. So we can geolocate that, the moment you turn it on, we know, okay, you are at this particular school, whatever. So it allows students to actually receive the same lesson from different teachers. And what it does for me, on my laptop, I have all the primary schools in Lagos. So I can check attendance.
At any time.
Attendance. I can check even the results. How is it that people in primary 2A are doing well in arithmetic and people in 2B are not? What is the problem? So at least it allows us to understand the challenges that we have and provide solutions to them. To say, okay, maybe we need to change this, maybe we need to change that.
So we just got in another caller. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Moya, and everybody there on the street. My name is Peter Walaka. I'm calling you from Magodo 61. Okay. I want to say hi to Dr. Hamzat.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Doctor, I want to just ask a question. You know, number one is I was not been so happy. You know, see you and Governor Sowolu campaigning because if we don't need campaigning, I'm a middleman. See, I am from Imo State. What is happening in Lagos has never happened in another state. I have been encouraging other states to go for what's going on in Lagos. You don't need campaign. People have already won. I said
you don't need campaign, sir.
You know. And secondly, I want to ask Dr. Hamzat about Orisha. There's a place they call Orisha Community in Magodo, phase 1. The road is bad. Children cannot go to school. Is there anything you can do and make a promise today on this live TV that you could look into? Ask the Commissioner for Work to come to Orisha Magodo in the United States. Come and what's going on there. There's no road. There's no drainage system. And secondly, I want to say congratulations to Ashwaji. He is not the next president of this country. I am an Igbo man. I get attached to Ashwaji's house without knowing anybody. That man is the hero. I don't want to say much, but God knows. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying that from my heart. And joy, let Ashwaji, let God do it for him. I'm an Igbo man and I'm supporting to the end. Thank you.
Thank you. So the estate in Magodo,
Ishawu, a lot of Nigerians feel like there's options. We have options and we feel displeased with the current administration because of some of the policies carried out. What would you say are the chances of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu winning this election at this point in time?
Well, I mean, again, I think Nigerians must look at three things. For me, what have you done? What is your capacity? And what is your network? The network is how are you able to assemble people across this country that can do the job for you? Look, the reality is that if you are a governor or a president, nobody plans to fail. Nobody. There is nobody that says, I will become a governor and go and fail. It is the capability that becomes a problem when you get there. And then the ability to have a vision and stay with it and be bold. So that's why you see that in other parts of the world. Let's look at United Kingdom, everywhere that we all see. All the prime ministers of UK, look at the school they went to. Go and check it. Boris Johnson, Cambridge. So now, go and look at it. So capability to actually assimilate things is very important. What have you done in terms of your work? So for me, honestly, it's a very easy decision for me. And I'm not biased because I will tell you a story. When I joined this cabinet because he headhunted me. I was working with Morgan Stanley and they came over there to do mortgages. I was the only black man in the room. And they said, which Hamzat is yours? What are you doing here? What were you doing here when you were here too? No, so we engaged in, and then they were doing Oracle. At that time, the state of New York have not started Oracle. The state of New York started Oracle in 2012. At that time, Nike was doing Oracle. They spent $17 million. With all the Nike, they canceled it. At that time, the success rate of implementing ERP, which Oracle is part of, is 10% globally. Meaning only 10 will start within budget and within time. Lagos State was able to implement it. That's why you don't hear ghost worker. During implementation, we even know of ghost level. Ghost level. That's why we're able to do that. So automating the process of Lagos. So people say the IGR went up. It didn't just go up. It went up because of automation. If we are all friends, we can't do the same thing the same way. But technology allows you to automate your process. It allows you to repeat it. It allows you to predict it. That's what he has done in Lagos. So now today, various states are doing the same thing. They came to Lagos to come and learn. Fine. But so in terms of capability, all of them have been in positions. Abubakar Atiku has been vice president. Mr. Obi has been governor. Ashwaju has been governor. Kokonso has been governor. Let's look at the records. So we shouldn't be sentimental as a people. If not, we will miss it. And I pray we don't miss it. So the question is, what have you done? The governor of Anambra State today, Mr. Soludo, went to the VP to say 40% of my state is under erosion. We all did geography. Did the erosion start in one day? So which means the people behind did not see the future. But how do you then compare that with somebody that saw Eco Atlantic when Victoria Island will have disappeared? Victoria Island will have disappeared because at the time that they built the Tinkan Island, they used 3 molds. Each mold is about 6 floors to build that Tinkan Island in 1906. And we never as a people went back to take care of it. So erosion. Because when we were in primary school, when you go to Babish, you walk about 2 kilometers. So the idea of Eco Atlantic is to take it back to where its natural course was. And that was it. Federal government was pumping sand every year and it's rushing away. 1.5 billion. It will just go away because the ocean will take over. Somebody said, no. What is the problem? They said, okay, in that case, we must convert this liability to asset. What do we need to do? We need to develop build groins like they do everywhere. And that was it. So to compare somebody like that has the vision to say, when it started Lekki, we were talking about land. When it started the Lekki Free Zone, the MD of our MD was killed by the locals because they didn't want to give the land. We said, look, it's better for you. What are you doing with this land? Now they have 5% stake in that land. Today is the highest industrial place in our country. Today you have the port there. 3 times the size of Apapa and Tinkan. 3 times the size. Our port in Nigeria has become a transshipment port because it's not deep. So they will stay in the middle of the ocean and then they will use it small to come and carry. So ships that are supposed to come, discharge within a week, they stay 3 months. So it doesn't make sense for them to come to Nigeria. They were going to Togo, for God's sake. Now, with Lekki Seaport, any ship can come there today. Somebody has that thought. So how do you compare a lion to a goat? It does, it's scary for me that
there's even a conversation
that we don't see it. Because like I said, people have records. Look at their records.
That's why we ask so that we get reminded. Because
Please, let us. No, so I'm talking to this population. So look at the records. No, don't let it sentimental. This is a.
There's also the bias.
I don't care.
There's also
that's between you and your God. What you worship is your business. It's not my business. It's only even God. I've run election, and I know it's only God that knows if you're a Christian or a Muslim. It's only God. Because the things that people tell you. People that we think so let's forget it.
So let's talk about the continuity of this person's relevance in the sense that government after government after government within Lagos State still recognize all that you have talked about, and this has, on the other way, been criticized as godfatherism. What would you like to say about that?
So I recall during BRF, he liked Singapore a lot.
Yes.
Because Singapore, a nation that has no resources, nothing. They have an agreement with Indonesia 100 years to import sand. Malaysia 100 years to import water. They have nothing. And they've become one of the best countries in the world. So it's knowledge. It's knowledge. Absolute knowledge. Now, we have a population in this country that has been getting PhDs all over the world. So what is our problem? What exactly is our problem? It's knowledge. But we keep worrying about something on the ground, oil, this, and we forget our human capacity, which is the most important. So, when we went to Singapore, we met Lee Kuan Yew with BRF. The first question he asked us is, what is your succession plan as a governor? There is no success without succession. No success. Because it's easy to destroy anything. You can build a nation for 50 years, in 2 years it can be destroyed.
Wow.
And we've seen it around the world.
Yeah.
Somali used to be a fantastic country. Today, what is it? You can't even have this conversation.
Yes.
So, the reality is, when people say godfatherism, look, if somebody has walked a path, and I'm going to walk that path, I better ask.
Follow.
Not even to follow, but to say, when you are walking this path, where were the problems? There's problem here. You better don't go here. So it's just natural way of living a life. Ask people that has experience. Even in MBA classes, they tell you must have a mentor. You must have a mentor that will tell you, you can't do this, this is wrong. Because the problem in our society is sacrificing. So a lot of people will not tell you the truth. So you need that 1, 2, 3 people that will say no. That's why Lagos State will have the Governance Advisory Council. These are elderly people. They don't need anything from you. They will tell you, Mister, you are making a big mistake here. You are wrong. So but you convince them, no, I'm not wrong because of ABC. But they will tell you the truth. And they are from different parts of the state. So they will tell you, no, in my own area, this your policy is not working. So you need that. So the idea to say, as a governor, I'll be told, no, there's nothing like that because you don't know everything. So you need people that will also tell you, look, you are making a mistake here. So the idea that, like you said, it was during Asiwaju that we started the Lagos Metropolitan Transport Authority, this Lamata, because they have a master plan to say they design, at that time, design 7 rail lines, the blue, the red, the green, whatever it is.
You know, let me, because people don't realize,
yes, I would like to say that, having said all that he's done in Lagos State, and everyone is listening to you, what would you be saying to Nigerians now that if we have a Nigeria with Bola Ahmed Asiwaju Tinubu as president, what would you be getting? Maybe Nigerians should also see that.
So the truth is this, he's a fighter. So, and he has always fought for the less privileged. And I will tell you, remember, when PDP was in government, and he was the only AC governor, there was nothing thrown at him to come to PDP. They promised him the whole world. And he said, why? I don't believe in your principles. Now, he's a fighter. When he believes in something, he will do it. And why I like him is that as a commissioner, when we agree on something, it doesn't matter the problem you now confront, it will stay with you. The moment, and I will tell you a story. When I was a young commissioner with him, maybe 18 months or so, we were in his office, 3 of us, and we were arguing with him. A governor from South came in, And he said, who are these people? Bola, who are these people? I said, oh, this commissioner for science and tech, this, and that. So what is the problem? Let them. I said, no. So that's how we do it in Lagos. Their argument seems to make more sense than my thinking. That's how the man said, okay, just said that. We greeted him and we left. And we control. The idea is he listens. The moment you are able to listen, ideas is not a problem in Nigeria. What I can tell you is that the human capacity of this country will be galvanized if Asiwaju become president.
Okay.
Listen, Nigerians are making $200 an hour in the US. I know Nigerians that are doing that. How much is a barrel of oil? How much? It's whatever, and it keeps fluctuating.
Yes.
People make $200 an hour, Nigerians, in the IT sector in the US. Today, that I know a lot of them. So the reality is, there are enough people out there that can really help this country. How do you bring them in? Not because they know somebody or because they don't know anybody. So that is what Asiwaju does. He will look for the best brain and let's say, how do we fix this country? Let's sit down. So like I said, when he became governor, he has a master plan. He brought people together, all of them, experts on health. And that template, all we just need to do is to review it. That's why we do it in Betty Summit every 2 years. It used to be every year. But we realized that because we make commitments, we must fulfill this commitment. So if they come in a problem to fulfill 80% within a year. So we said, let's do 2 years. And people come with practical experiences around the world. So we need somebody that can really attack the issue of this country, and that's the man for you.
I like the fact that you mentioned that he's a visionary. But one of the concerns of many Nigerians is he's a visionary, but he's also growing to an age where he needs to rest.
Okay.
How visionary will he be when he gets into position and he needs to be taking rest back to back? And also, Nigeria is bigger than just one state, Lagos State.
Absolutely.
Yes, we have many issues in the country, many issues across cultures in the country. Now, do you think that even with having a blueprint on what he intends to do, he will be able to cover the needs of Nigerians across the cultures, across the states, across the local government? Do you think that capacity is still there, considering that he's getting to an age where he needs to rest?
Well, I mean, thank you very much. It's a legitimate question. It's a very nice question. So there are two components to life. So as you also age, you tend to have better experience, but less energy. As you age, and that is natural. But like I told you, the job of a president, in my view, is easier than the job of a governor, in my view, and I will tell you why. A president has over 600 parastatals. Let us look at a country that I just mentioned, Singapore. It's the parastatals that get jobs done, not ministries. And what does that mean? Because they are nimble, they are smaller. So your responsibility as president is, okay, how do I make sure that I have the right people, the right organizations to do this job and monitor? Monitoring today is technology. So like in Lagos, like I said, we have a dashboard. So I can monitor the Ministry of Health. All this project you say you are doing, is it being done? Where are we? So remember what Vice President Atiku said then, that they spent $1.6 billion or whatever, and there was no power because there was no monitoring. By the time they realized it, everywhere is bush. And he said that there was no executive council meeting that they held in the last 18 months that did not give approval on power. But who was monitoring? They meant well, but there's no deployment of technology to monitor that. Okay, you said, oh, you are doing this. Those are the governors, the Fasholas, the Sanwo-Olu that do well is because they have a monitoring model. So Asiwaju, we have a monitoring model. Now, if you read the Renew Hope, what are the things that is said there? Commodity exchange. How is it that we produce cocoa and we don't determine the price? We are stupid. I'm sorry. The reality is that our farmers do everything, but when
we cannot negotiate better deals.
All these countries don't produce a single cocoa and they determine the price for us. So let us have a commodity exchange. where we, just like stock market, where we determine prices of within Africa. So we started Nigeria first. So what that does, it gives farmers more advantage. They know that their product will sell. Until if you go to Taraba State, I served in it was Gongola then, Taraba State. Taraba State can produce rice in 3 months that can feed this country.
I can't testify to that.
No, I know. I know. I've been to Mambila. It's green all through the years. It's green all through the years. So the reality is we have this information. How do you now get it done?
Managing.
So you need somebody that first of all understand that this is possible. Because whatever you can't see, you can't achieve it. So he's a man that can see that this is possible. So how do we now make farming easier for farmers? What do we need to do? So those are the challenges that Nigeria has. And honestly, in terms of capability and capacity, it is important that we get somebody like him there. Like you said, the age. Sorry.
I can't believe that we are out of time and you have shared so much. Thank you for spending your Friday morning with us on Your View, and I'm sure that a lot of our audience have learned a lot more about this Lagos State administration and what has been done, and more importantly, they've been reminded about the achievements of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to understand why you should be voted for. Once again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. All right, that's all we can take on today's show, the last show for the week. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Gentlemen, welcome to the part of the show where I really have a lot of fun. Why? I'm highly competitive. I'm not going to ask you regular questions with me. I'm not well. So you're going to be as nuts as I am today, yes?
Ready.
Alrighty. Sorry. Can you put it down here, please? King Dion versus Tony. Oh, thank you. See all the Lee Kuku things you do. They make me no. Who said this?
I'm not going to every day closer. Girl, I want to make you closer.
Okay.
Upslayed in closer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun have you had on the show?
11, 10.
11?
10, yes.
11? Now we're going to terminate the show. Please, my producer, this is where we're cutting it. Cameraman, cut it. You don't cut. Okay, I'm just kidding.
The hottest music videos.
Check it out. Let's go.
Topping the charts. Right here on the Max World Chart Show.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger! Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.